Hi, lovely booktubers. I'm Debs, and welcome back to my channel, Raina Read Stuff. I am here in the book shack, and it's just over midway through the first quarter of Historathon 2024. So I thought I'd just do a little bit of a wrap up of what I've read so far and what I am planning to read or am reading for the second half of quarter one. Now, those of you who don't know, Historathon was set up by Zen at Revenant Reads. There are a number of co-hosts, of which I am proud to be one. Quarter one deals with reading history from prehistory up to the year 500 CE. And that's what I've been doing. So, the first book up, which is quite a large hardback book, and it's in the house and I haven't brought it out with me, was 70 Great Mysteries of the Ancient World. And it dealt with all sorts of things like deciphering ancient writings, cuneiform, hieroglyphics, all sorts of things, to whether or not the dates for the end of the world were right according to the Mayan calendar. They weren't. They estimated 2012. But there were a lot of what are the heads of for Easter Island for, and all sorts of things like that. Now, obviously, um, the book was written pre 2012, otherwise, it wouldn't have mentioned the Mayan mystery. Um, Off the top of my head, I think it was published in 2005, and a lot of things have changed since then, but it was still interesting. It was a good read, and it dipped into several different civilizations, and so it kicked me off on a good setting, I think, for Q1. The second book I read was an ebook, and it was by the British archaeologist Francis Pryor, and it was Scenes of Prehistoric Life. Now, that was absolutely fascinating, and he took elements of the physical world and also archaeological excavations to try and create an image or several images, because there were several chapters, of what it was like for prehistoric man living in England. Yeah, it was all England, I think. Um, it was really good, really good. A lot of information. He's a very knowledgeable guy, um, very accessible, and very interesting. Um, I then I buddy read with John David and Stephanie Cohen SPQR by Mary Beard, and I really enjoyed this. I've only read one Mary Beard before, and that was Women and Power. Um, but this is it covers 1,000 years of Roman history. Um, Again, her writing is extremely accessible. She doesn't answer questions unless there is enough evidence behind to answer those questions. But she'll put forward theories of what she thinks is the most likely scenario in some of the things that she discusses. Um, if you haven't read it, it's a really good read. I also read Wisdom of the Ancients by Neil Oliver. I'm going through British archaeologists at the moment. Neil Oliver is a Scottish archaeologist he writes a good story. This is more archaeology combined with philosophy. And basically, throughout the book, he's saying that we need to be more in tune with our surroundings and the planet in the same way that ancient civilizations were. He doesn't just stick to the UK in this book, he hops off all over the place. Again, really interesting read. Third of my British archaeologists is Professor Alice Roberts. Now, she is an anthroarchaeologist and was previously a surgeon. Um, this book travels the UK looking at instances of burials that are in some way special or unusual. And she examines the evidence there and doesn't actually put forward theories as to, well, she does put forward theories as to how or why these things occurred, but she doesn't indicate a preference for any of those theories. It's a really interesting book. Now, I am currently reading another book by her, Celts. I'm not very far in. You can see I'm about there. But that's one of the ones for the second half of the quarter for me. Now, I also I've got the 80 book box set of the Little Black Penguin classics. So I went through them and I hooked out all the classical authors. Some of these are actually history. So we have Plato, who is reporting on Socrates' defense. And Plato was actually there. He heard the speech being given. So that counts as history. We have Suetonius, who wrote of the 12 Caesars, and this is one section of his work. So this is specifically dealing with Caligula. Then we have a little bit of Herodotus. The Madness of Cambyses. The others I read were part of a mission to sort of read around the history of the subject. So these are poems, plays, and retellings of myths and legends by the classical authors. And although they're not history, you can glean some understanding of the way people thought or were entertained, and sometimes even a bit of social history in there, the things they wore and the things they were eating. So they're not history. Like I said, I wanted to read around the subject. So we have Virgil, O Cruel Alexis, Sappho, Come Close. These were lovely. Those poems were really good. Ovid, The Fall of Icarus, Homer, Circe and the Cyclops, Catullus. I love these. I need some more Catullus. I Hate and I Love, Sophocles, Antigone. I liked that as well. Really enjoyed that. Trimalcho's Feast by Petronius, a few of Aesop's Fables, and Jason and Medea by Apollonius of Rome. And then this week I read Lysistrata. which, although I can't pronounce it, is the funniest play. Um, Aristophanes wrote of the wars of Athens, continually at war with the city-state, was continually at war with various people. The women of Athens decide they're going to put a stop to this war. They've had enough, it's gone on too long, and they're really quite bored of it. And so they decide the best way to do that is to withhold sex from their husbands and partners. And not only that, they lock themselves in the Acropolis and won't come out. It is absolutely hilarious, and it's really well worth a read, whether you're interested in history or not. I think that is it so far for the first half of the first quarter. Should I be saying the first eighth? No, no, that's too confusing. Right, so what have I got coming up next? Well, as I said, I am part way through The Celts by Alice Roberts. I am also part through a group read of Polybius's histories with John David, Stephanie Cohen, Claire Shepherd, and Vin. And these deal with Roman wars against Carthage. They are fascinating. There's a great depth of detail in them, and I am enjoying them very much. I haven't finished those yet. I am at the end of book 3. I think we are only going. I think we're only reading till to the end of book 5, but the edition that I've got, which is an e-edition, has excerpts, because that's all there are left, of varying chapters from chapter 6 upwards, sorry, volume 6 upwards, because these were all separate books. But it's really interesting. And it deals with Hamilcar and also with his son, Hannibal. Um, I'm looking forward to reading some more of that. Additionally, I have Boudicca by MJ Trow, which I intend to read in the next 6 weeks. I have Ancestors, also by Professor Alice Roberts, which I am going to be reading as a buddy read with Alex from Alex Unabridged in March. I also found this, which is Unquiet Women by Max Adams. And this is a book about women who caused a bit of a stir throughout history and throughout the world, but quite a few of them are quite early, although the subjects in here will go right through all of the periods of Historathon. But I like things like this. I mean, history is written by men because they were the historians, and they tend to, a lot of them tend to either dismiss women or just completely ignore the fact that they exist. So I'm quite looking forward to that. Finally, I am doing the Read What You Own challenge, and as soon as I have finished it, if you don't know what the Read What You Own challenge is, I pledged to read 100 physical books that I owned before buying any more. So I've been on a book buying ban since November the 6th, and it's driving me insane now. And as soon as I finish, which I'm hoping is going to be this weekend, I will be purchasing Irving Finkel's First Ghosts, because a lot of people have read it and said it is well worth a read. So I expect to be buying that and be reading that during the first quarter of Historathon as well. So I think that's all my Historathon Q1, first half of Q1 news for now. I hope you're reading lots of good stuff. I will put all the details about Historathon below. If you're interested in joining, join at any point. Read one book per period, whatever you want to do. Um, but it's nice to be reading history, and it's nice to encourage other people to read some history. You know, you might learn something. I certainly have. I've learned loads. Um, that's it for today. I shall be back on Sunday with my weekly reading wrap up, which I am hoping is going to be the final one that includes the Read What You Own challenge. Thank you for popping by. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. That would be lovely. Leave a message if you want to chat. I like to chat to people. I think that's it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.